Welcome to Tech House Frenzy from Function Loops. Let's quickly show you what comes with the pack. As you can see, there's 5 kits ready to go. They're labelled up with the BPM and what key they're in. There's also bonus content. So let's go into a pack. As you can see, there's the loops, the demo, MIDI files and one-shots. So you can drag and drop out whatever you like. So you may like the effects on this track, so you can just drag and drop that out. You may like the shaker, so as you can drag that out of there. But you may not like the kick. So what you can do is you can go into a different pack entirely, and then you go to one-shots, say, and then you can just find the kick and then drag and drop that in there. So you can basically mix and match parts from the sample pack, from the different kits. There's also MIDI files. So in the MIDI files you'll find a synth and a bass pre-written MIDI notes, so you can just drag and drop that in there. As you can see, I've also added a silent track with bass sound on there, so you can just give that a play. So you may not like the groove of that one, so what you can do is obviously go into a different kit and find another MIDI file bassline, so you just drag and drop that in there, get rid of the old one, give that one a quick play. So now you've got the MIDI notation, you can sort of play around with it, put it into the key of your track if it's a different key. So now we have a bass and a bit of a groove going on. We can go into another pack and drag and drop out another loop. Say we like the clap from this one, we can just drag and drop that straight into our project, see what that sounds like. And then sort of add a few more bits here and there, so we can try add in some hats. So in the bonus content there are bass loops and drum loops. Once you've got sort of like a sort of general structure down, you can maybe change the bass line about, so you can just drag and drop different bass line entirely, so you just mute yours and see what this sounds like. You can also do the same with the drum loops, so you can just drag and drop drum loop in there. So you might like this drum loop over your drum loop, so if you just mute everything, put the bass line on it. As you can see, the sample pack comes with quite a lot of content, so you can sort of drag and drop MIDI files, or you can drag and drop loops to basically make the track your own. So we'll start by drag and dropping some samples from the sample pack directly into Logic Pro X. We're running at 125 BPM. Just create new tracks. We'll just turn all these down and see what it sounds like. So that's a good starting point. So just getting a rough loop down now, and what we'll do is we'll start adding bits in every now and again. What I've done is I've started adding in some hi-hats and offbeat hi-hats, so as you can hear, adds a bit of groove to it. So again, we'll just keep looping it, just adds a bit of interest. So at the 1 minute mark, what I'll do is we'll start adding in the bass line, so I'll just drag and drop the bass line in. So probably get rid of this sound, the FX sound, which is this. As you can hear, the bass line's already been sidechained, so it's staying out of the way of the kick. So it's added a bit of movement to the track. So just drag and drop that again. And then what we'll do is we'll remove the kick, and probably the hats, and then what we'll do is we'll put the bass, the kick and the clap for the next part. So this is a rough idea of what we can do with this sample pack. So when we start heading towards the 2-minute mark, we can just, again, just loop all this, keep it going. And then what we'll do is just start adding bits in, bring it back. So we'll just loop these back. So we'll put these about here. So it sort of flows like this. Again, adding the groove back to it. And then what we'll do is we will add some more sounds. So we'll add this in quickly, which is the snare roll. Sorry, out of time, so move it there. And then we'll add in a vocal loop right for the end. See what that sounds like.
In the house.
Could add another loop in. Just add a bit more of a groove. See what that sounds like. Do it towards the end.
In the house.
Right, so I don't get confused, we'll just quickly colour code these. So I'll do all the kick drums as one colour, and we'll do the snare and the clap as another colour. So just do any colour, just makes it easier. And then we will do the hats and the shaker as another colour. And then the bass is another. Just makes it easy to see what we're doing. Right, just before the transition for the second drop, what I'll do is remove the low end part of the kick, play that through, start getting the second bit ready. And then what we'll do is start adding everything back. Just add it bit by bit and see what it sounds like in the loop. Or just mute that for a second. We can add a few more other bits from the pack. We've got tom there, and then we've got another vocal sample. Loop that through. Let's bring the beginning loop back when it drops. So bit tambourine, bit loud. Maybe the other vocal. Let's try that. So now we're sort of happy with the arrangement. What we can do is start adding effects. So what we'll do is just loop this across about another 30 seconds worth. So from there to here. And what we'll do is we will put a delay on the vocal. And what we'll do is automate the mix on the vocal. So we'll just quickly do that now. Right, and then what we'll do is we'll bring back the kick on essentially the next drop. So as you hear, it gets a bit more intense with the vocal. Now we'll start looking at mixing the track. We'll start off with the kick drum. Let's start off with an EQ, and then we'll add a transient, and we'll add a compressor. Probably do the EQ in between. So let's start off with the transient. It's a little bit more because remember we have got the transient there on the other kick, so we'll start off with that. We'll just cut the low end off that we don't need, give it a little boost, and then we'll add the compressor. And then what we'll do is we will set this to 10, 10 and 6. Bring the threshold down a little bit, bring up the makeup, bypassed. So as you can hear, it's much more snappy. Let's do the mid-range part. What we'll do is we'll just start off with just cutting out the low end on that. As you can hear, it's really more snappy, so might not need. So yeah, so we don't need anything else on that. I'm quite happy with like that. Let's just move on to the clap. Start off with an EQ. A bit of low end on there. Quite happy with that. Add a compressor on there just to fatten up again. So let's bypass it. So as you can hear, it's a bit brighter. Let's do the snare. Again, cut the low end off. We've already got quite a lot of activity on the highs with the clap, so let's try it in the mix. Yeah, it's quite bright, so we'll just cut that off there. Solo it. There we are, happy with that. Move on to the hats. Start off by cutting out the lows that we don't need. And again, it's really quite bright. There's quite a horrible sound somewhere in there. So right there, so we'll cut that out. Take a little bit off the highs, put it back in the mix. Quite loud, so bring that back. We'll just use a limiter on it. Probably cut a little bit more of the highs out. Go onto the shaker. Again, cutting out the low end on it. Cutting off the highs. Could probably add a little bit of high end to that, just to make it shine a bit more. Compressor or limiter. So these two are clashing, so we'll just pan those left and right. So let's go back to the bass. Let's start off by cutting out the low end. We'll add a sidechain compressor on there. What we'll do is we'll put a limiter in between, and then we'll add a BX control, and we'll just make it mono. Don't want any bass in the stereo field. And then get the mix back going again. So just control the a bit horrible there, so we'll get rid of that. So extend that in the mix. Just have some control of the track. Don't really need to do much to that. Got the low end, maybe a bit brighter. Right, for the synth loop, just again, cut the low end off, limiter, and then what we'll do is make it wide. And then make it wide. And then move on to the tom. Right, need to cut some of the low end off. It's probably just right. A bit more. And then bring volume down so it's nice in the mix. Just sitting in the back. And then we will do another one on that one. Now that I'm happy with the mix, what I'm going to do is add another effect onto the master output. So it's just going to add an EQ to the master output. And then what I'm going to do is alternate the low end being cut. And then we'll just have that going for one bar. Now we drop back down again. So it's something like this. So there you have it. How to make a tech house track using Tech House Frenzy from Function Loops, a Beatport exclusive pack. I am Subcity. I hope you have enjoyed the tutorial. Thanks for listening.
In the